Welcome to Safe Options Strategies, and welcome to our presentation. I'm glad you're taking some time out of your schedule to view this. You might have a lot going on right now. At the time I'm recording this, we're going into a long holiday weekend. The markets are closed today. We're celebrating the Easter holiday on Sunday, and today is Good Friday, traditionally a day that the U.S. stock market is closed. So I know you've got other things you could be doing, spending time with friends or family, but you're taking a little time out of your schedule to watch this, and I appreciate that. By way of a quick introduction, my name is Jeffrey Dunyan. I am the owner and founder of Safe Options Strategies. I've been doing this for about a little over 15 years now. I've been teaching people how to trade and how to trade safely in the stock market. And I'm going to guess, kind of an educated guess, that if you're taking time out of your schedule to watch this. I've got a few people on live with me right now. I really appreciate you taking time. Most people are seeing this as a recording on our website. As you watch this, I'm making this educated guess that this has stung. This downturn that we've seen in the market, a drop of 32%. I think it actually went to 35% at the lowest point, but a drop of 32% in a period of about 3 to 4 weeks. Fastest drop in the history of the U.S. stock market, fastest turn from all-time highs into a bearish market in the history of the U.S. stock market, biggest overall percentage drop since the Great Depression. I mean, this is unprecedented, and it all came on a black swan event. And here's the thing. You cannot react to this type of move fast enough to save a portfolio if you're not prepared in advance for it. Now, I've been hearing on the radio for the last few days, on television, on the radio, I've been hearing for the last few days an advertisement by a competitor that is claiming they predicted this drop. I've never heard a bigger bunch of BS in my life. This particular competitor that is claiming that they predicted this drop and you should listen to them, you should buy their crazy $15,000 expensive program. Here's the thing. I've known this competitor the entire time I've been doing Safe Option Strategies, the entire time I've been teaching people how to trade. 2 to 3 times every single year since 2008, since our last bear market in 2008. 2 to 3 times every year, they have predicted that we would have a drop like this. That means that somewhere in the neighborhood of 35 to 50 times they've been wrong. And all of a sudden now they're patting themselves on the back and saying, you should buy their program because they predicted this. And it's just ludicrous. Folks, things that have happened in this last couple of months, this is what we call a black swan event. This can't be predicted. We never know when this kind of thing is going to happen. But I'm going to show you a way to trade your portfolio to where you can always be prepared for something like this. I had no clue this was going to happen. I had no clue that in a couple of weeks, we'd be back up 25 or 30% from the lowest point down. In fact, we're up, I think, as of yesterday's stock market close, I think we're up almost 40% from the lowest point that this got. Now, we could be back on solid territory. We could be moving back up. Most people I'm listening to think that we're going to drop back down. They think that sometime between now and the time the pandemic really fades away, they think we're going to come back down and maybe test this low. On the Dow Jones Industrial Average, it would be 20,000. It would be a similar percentage on the other indexes. I'm in that camp. I think at least one more time, maybe a couple of more times, we're probably going to test this low before we see this market really taking back off. And maybe by the end of the year, maybe sometime early in next year, first or second quarter of next year, maybe we get back up to these all-time highs. It's going to be difficult because as I'm recording this and doing this live for a few of you, as I'm recording this presentation, we're right at the start of earnings season where we're really going to get a picture of how bad the damage has been from this COVID-19 pandemic in terms of how it's affected American companies and the companies that trade on the U.S. stock exchanges. We're going to start getting the reports this coming week from the financial companies. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, they're all going to report their earnings in the next few days. And we might see that the damage is a lot worse than we thought. And we could be in for more of a downward drop than we've already had. Here's the reason I'm telling you this. It's not my intention to talk about a lot of doom and gloom. I don't like trying to scare people, but there's a part of me that hopes you're scared enough that you'll do something about it. Listen, I'm going to put all my cards on the table right now. I'm going to be brutally honest with you about what my intent is in showing this class. Some of you, I recognize, those of you that are with me live, I recognize a handful of your emails. I know that anytime I do one of these presentations and you know about a live one coming up, you jump in. I know you've probably watched recordings of a presentation like this multiple times. I'm not sure what you're waiting for, but for those of you that are seeing this for the first time, I'm just going to put all my cards on the table right now. I want to show you some things that will impress you enough that you want to join our education. The way I teach people to trade protects them from these unforeseen things like this. It can be incredibly profitable during times of prosperity like this. It can be amazingly profitable in a bull market like this. We can make profit when we get this steady movement down, and we have done so for the last 6 or 8 weeks. While this market has been volatile and crazy and wild, we've made money. We've protected everything we had when we were up here at the highs. I've had multiple, too many to count, I've had multiple students of mine that have been with my program for a period of time that during this 3-4 weeks where we were in the steepest decline, they were emailing me. I was getting emails on a daily basis with people thanking me for helping them set up their portfolio so that they couldn't lose money. Now, I'm not saying that to be conceited. I'm not saying that to give myself a pat on the back. I think the thanks belongs to the system. I learned this system 20 years ago, and I've been teaching it for 15 years. And I know what I'm doing. And again, I'm not saying that with any conceit. I'm not saying that with any pretense. I'm not trying to brag about myself. This system works, and I can teach it to you. When we get to the end of this presentation, I'll show you a couple of things you can do to get some more information, and I'll tell you about a discount that we're offering on our program for probably most of the month of April. We'll probably do the discount for the entire month of April. But I'm being honest with you right now. I'm not going to teach you how to do everything in this free presentation. If you want to learn how to do what I'm going to show you, you've got to be willing to make a small investment into the education and learn it. We teach a trading system unlike anything you've ever seen. We have a complete education top to bottom, start to finish. We teach basics of how the stock market works, basics of how options works, different types of option strategies that you can put in place. We teach strategies if you only want to trade options. We teach strategies if you want to trade stocks and use options to enhance that stock trading, to protect that stock trading. Anything and everything that has to do with U.S. equities, we teach. The strategies can be applied to ETFs, they can be applied to commodities, they can be applied to futures. I don't trade Forex. If you're big into Forex and you really like trading Forex, I wish you nothing but the best of luck. I think that is a more speculative market than anything else out there. I've known more people that have lost everything they have trying to play Forex than anything else. So I stay away from it. I don't try and predict what's going to happen geopolitically and how it's going to affect currencies. But if that's what you're doing, I wish you the best. We're probably not the right fit for you. If you want to trade safe, here's the thing about what we do at Safe Option Strategies. Everything we do is the exact opposite of the get-rich-quick stuff. None of what we do at Safe Option Strategies is under this guise and this baloney about you're going to take $2,000 and turn it into $2 million and travel around on your private jet day trading from anywhere in the world you want to. That's a bunch of BS. You've seen the commercials, you've seen the YouTube videos, you know what I'm talking about. It's baloney. We're the opposite of the guy that's out there saying his system, he took $4,500 and in a couple of years, he turned it into a $50,000 a month income. I'm sorry, that's not who we are, because that's baloney. Some of you have experienced that firsthand. I get more students come to Safe Option Strategies after they've been burned by other companies than people who just find this and they're wanting to trade for the first time. I genuinely feel bad for those individuals that have lost money because they bought into someone's investment education and it turned out to be a bunch of bull. The only thing I can do about that is help you fix it. Our strategies are focused 100% on protecting you from these crazy, unpredictable swings. Even when the markets are going steadily up, even when they're going steadily up, individual companies can have moments of volatility. They can have an earnings report that tips things on its head, that makes things really crazy. A company can get sued and see their stock go right through the floor and look like it's never going to stop falling. But everything we do teaches you how to protect your money, because this is one thing I've learned in 15 years of teaching this and over 20 years of being invested in the stock market and actively trading in the stock market. Here's one of a number of things I've learned. Making money is easy. It really is. Making money in the stock market is easy. Learning how to not lose that money is a lot more difficult. Losing money is easier than making money. So you've got to fix that part of the equation before you can start profiting consistently. I'm going to teach you in the next, okay, I'm 14 minutes into this presentation. This is my goal. Okay, here's my goal right now. I am going to take another 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to keep this presentation down to about a 35-minute presentation. I'm going to take the next 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to teach you a couple of strategies. I'm going to show you a couple of things that we do at Safe Option Strategies. And again, I'm being honest with you. My goal is to get you to take some interest and take a close look at what we're doing, because everything I'm showing you right here is the tip of the iceberg. And I can teach you how to be profitable and teach you how to be safe and not be afraid of the next black swan event, not be afraid of the next economic recession, not be afraid of the next stock market slide. Protect your money. I'm going to show you how you can set up a zero risk trade, something that takes less than 30 minutes a day to manage. I'm going to show you a concept called trade adjusting, setting up higher probability trades and adjusting losing trades into winning trades when they go against you. And by combining these two things and learning how to do these things, this is the crux of what we do at Safe Option Strategies. Now, there's a lot to this. I've got two little bullet points on here: risk-free trading and trade adjusting. But there's a lot more to it than that. The first thing that, now, for those of you that are experienced traders, you've been trading for a while, you know this stuff, you're not going to need to know stock market basics. You're probably not going to need to be taught a lot on fundamental analysis, but this is where our program starts. For those people that are just learning how to trade their own money, just learning how to manage their own money, we teach you from those very beginning levels. You don't have to go through all of this stuff to get right into the meat of what we teach, the strategies, how to understand options. We have an entire level of our program that focuses on debit spreads. Every different type of debit spread you can imagine, every different type of credit spread you can imagine. Collar trading, that's the risk-free trading. Complex spread trading, portfolio management. Everything you need, whatever level you're at, and that's the reason I took the time to show you that just now. Whatever level you are at, you can jump in and start adding to it. If you're a beginner, we can teach you how to do all of this. If you've been trading for a few years and you're still getting your feet wet and still trying to understand some things, we can teach you how to add on and build on. I have a gentleman that joined my program last week who is a registered investment advisor managing other people's money. And he took a look at a similar presentation to what you're looking at right now. He took a look at a presentation like this and he said, I've still got things I can learn and I can get better for my clients and for myself. And he joined the program. He didn't balk at doing it. Okay, let me show you a couple of strategies. How to trade with zero risk. Okay, the long put option. If you've traded options a lot, you know what the long put option is. It's an option contract. A long put option is a contract. You're going to purchase this contract, and it's going to give you the right to sell stock at a fixed price for a set period of time. Okay, no matter what the price of the stock does, you have the right to sell it over a certain period of time at a level that you choose. Okay, a long put option is going to go up in value as the price of the corresponding stock goes down in value. Now, here's the key. A lot of people trade and use long put options. If you're an experienced option trader or even a beginning option trader, you know what a long put is. Did you know that a long put was actually developed back in the early 70s when options came about? They were created to protect you. They were created to work like an insurance policy. A long put in almost every way imaginable works like an insurance policy. You buy a stock, you go out and buy a long put. Think of this as your insurance policy, okay? You pay a little bit for that long put, that insurance policy, relative to the price of your stock, that's $100. The price of this is fairly inexpensive, and it protects you. And if that stock suddenly goes down, that long put is simultaneously going up in value to basically make up this difference. So whatever you've lost on the stock, you've gained on the long put. That's the way a long put works. Now, we use a long put a little bit different at Safe Option Strategies. We create a trade. Okay, have you ever heard of advanced micro devices? We create a trade where you own some stock, you get a long put option, but you use some short calls, covered calls. Maybe you've heard of covered calls, maybe you haven't, but we use a covered call to take in a credit. See, the stock is money out, the short call is money in, and then we get our insurance policy, and we've got our insurance policy mostly paid for, such that you have a zero risk trade. And think about this. If you went out and bought 100 shares of AMD right now, $4,874 at yesterday's closing price. You have someone else pay you $385, and you turn around and spend that plus a little bit of your own money and spend $403, and the net total amount of money that you have just spent is $4,892. Divided by 100 shares of stock, your average price per share is $48.92, and you have the right to sell at $49. This is your insurance policy, and this is where you're protected. You're buying stock at $48.74, and you're protecting yourself at $49. You're over-insuring just a little bit, and you now have a zero-risk trade. Now, imagine this. I told you earlier in the presentation, we're coming up on earnings, right? Earnings is right on our doorstep. AMD is going to report their earnings in a couple weeks from now. When they report that earnings, if that stock plummets, if it literally just drops like a rock, you have the right to sell it at $49 a share. Or you can wait until it's found a bottom. You can cash in the profit from those long puts. You can add it into more stock and have way more stock in your portfolio as it's going back up. And the stock that you've added to your portfolio for AMD didn't cost you anything. It didn't cost you anything. It was free. Now, we have an entire, when you get to the end of this presentation, you're going to see two links that you can click. One will be over here on your screen, and one will be over here on your screen. And one of them goes into a little more detail about how this kind of trade works. We'll give you a little more of a preview of how this trade works. But to respect your time, I'm going to keep moving on from this. We use this type of trade, a collar trade, to protect ourselves. You can constantly have the money in your portfolio set up with zero risk. And when your insurance policy expires, you renew it. You roll short calls, or you buy to close and open some new short calls. You add new long puts, and you protect yourself through that next period of uncertainty. Now, that's one thing we do at Safe Option Strategies. And we've got an entire course that focuses on how to pick the right companies, how to take companies you already own and protect them that way, when the right time is to buy those long puts, where the right strike price is, where the right strike price is for those short calls. Everything you need to know to get good at that, we teach you. And we trade with you. We show you trades we're doing so you can copy them if you want. Now, you don't want to own stock. Some people don't. If you want to trade options only, we're going to teach you how to adjust trades. Now, adjusting trades has become something of a buzzword. In the last 5 or 6 years, I've heard more and more companies talk about adjusting trades. Folks, I was learning trade adjustments and developing new trade adjustments, and have been teaching trade adjustments for more than 20 years now. People in the last 4 or 5 years that have started talking about trade adjusting, they know a little tiny bit about it. And from my experience, what I've seen, I'm not going to name anybody by name, but the competitors that I'm aware of that have done a little bit with trade adjusting, they're scratching the surface. We can teach you how to trade adjust because we've been doing it for a long time. I'll show you in a minute what I mean by trade adjusting, but here's the scenario that most people find themselves in. They place a trade, they make a profit, they take that profit, they reinvest it into the next trade. See, we took that $1,000 profit, we added it to what we started with, and so the next trade has a little more money in it. That's a good way to trade. I'm not saying anything against that. And that can build up profits really fast, even on conservative returns. You can build up your profit really fast. But here's what most of you have experienced, and here's what most people suffer through. 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 6 trades goes against them, and suddenly they're taking big losses. And even though 3 out of 4 trades went exactly the way they wanted them to, they're still losing money because they don't know what to do with this one when it goes against them. And you know from experience, when an option-only trade goes against you, you can be down a lot more than 50% in just the blink of an eye. So when we teach you how to adjust trade, and by definition, the most simple way to explain what a trade adjustment is before you ever place the trade, you develop a backup strategy whereby you know how you're going to roll one of your options or close one of your options or add another option leg to a trade. And you're literally going to turn that trade to match the new direction that the stock is going. Because every time you place a trade, you have an expectation through your due diligence, through a recommendation you get from somebody somewhere, whatever it is. Maybe it's both a lot of times, but whatever it is, you place a trade, you have an expectation. You believe that stock's going to go up, down, or sideways, and you place a trade appropriately. And then oftentimes it doesn't do what you expect it to, or maybe it goes the direction you're expecting it to, but it doesn't go there fast enough, or it gets there too fast. You've got to have a backup plan for whatever else might happen. You take those same 4 trades, you reinvest your profits into each trade. I told you, I think that's a good thing. You develop a strategy that may be a little more conservative in the expected return that you're looking for. And then when a trade goes against you, you make an adjustment because you set it up correctly and you set up that backup plan. You make an adjustment and you turn a trade that was going to cost you 50, 60, 70% loss, you turn it into a profitable trade. That's what we teach you to do. And look at what the difference is. Instead of being down 13, 14%, you're up 60%. We're talking about almost a 70% difference. Adjusting trades is simply a matter of setting up a trade, knowing that it can go against you. And these are, by the way, these are actually screenshots right out of one of our classes on adjusting calendar spreads. We teach you step by step how to make those adjustments. Now, we go a huge step beyond that. Instead of just teaching you how to do that, we send our students trades on a regular basis. We show you exactly how to set up the next trade. we show you why we're picking that particular trade. We do this on a regular basis. Sometimes they're more complex, and there's several different parts to one particular trade. But as you're learning how to do this, additionally, we're doing it with you. Here's the thing. I know you've heard this adage before. Feed a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish and you feed him for life. Okay, I have a question for all of you. I love that adage, by the way. I've said that a lot of times. I've said that to my kids. I've taught that to students at Safe Option Strategies. But there's one important part missing in that beautiful little phrase. There's one thing missing. What do you do for the individual who starves while they're trying to learn how to fish? How do you keep someone fed while they're trying to learn how to fish? We've got an education that is more comprehensive, more complete than anything you're going to find anywhere online. I guarantee that. The content, the quality is better than anything you're going to find out there. I'm confident in that. But how long is it going to take you to learn? I don't know. You might learn it all in a few months. It might take you a year. And you want to make money. If you're going to spend money on an education, you want to make money starting right now today. So that's what we do. In addition to teaching you this stuff, that's feeding the man a fish and keeping him fed every day. In addition to that, we send you trades. Here's one we sent out to our students yesterday. This is something called a long iron condor. If you're an option trader, maybe you've heard of an iron condor. Well, we did a long iron condor. We set up this trade yesterday morning, and you know, before the market was closed yesterday, this trade was about 5% profitable. We're targeting about 10%, maybe 10 to 15% on it. We'll probably be out of this trade on Monday or Tuesday. This is just an example of a trade that we sent to our students. A trade that anybody could do. And through a combination of the education and us walking them through the process of this trade, they knew exactly how to set it up. Okay, I gotta hurry. I told you 35 minutes or so. I'm gonna stick to that. In addition to these trades that we send out, every day the market is open, we do a live trading class so that you have the ability to talk about these trades with us. Now, if your schedule doesn't match when we do this live, it gets recorded and it gets archived and put online every day. That's an old screenshot. That screenshot is from a couple months ago. But every day we do this live class, it gets posted to our website for our students to review. So if your schedule doesn't match up with when we do it live, that's okay. This is where we talk about the trades that we're sending you. This is where we talk about why did we choose that trade on the on QQQ, an ETF that follows the NASDAQ. Why did we choose that particular trade strategy? Why did we choose the expiration date that we did? What are we going to do next? What are we going to do if that trade doesn't go our way? When are we going to get out if it does go our way? What profit are we going to take? This is what we talk about. I'm not going to spend a lot of time going over the education. You can learn a lot about this on our website, what our courses have to offer. We have a spread trade course that is standalone. We have a collar trade course that is standalone, and probably 90+% of the people that join Safe Option Strategies learn both strategies, but you don't have to. We do all of this in a really simple, easy way. Each one of the courses has a 1-year membership and a lifetime membership, and if you combine them into the complete course, the complete program, you get a little bit of a discount over the lifetime or the 1-year membership. And for people who, and these are the prices that you can find on our website. You can go to the website and see these prices. Don't run to the website and buy this. Instead, call or email us, and I will tell you about the discount, the promotion that we're running through the month of April and save you a bunch of money. I'm at about 32 minutes right now in this presentation. So let me end with a couple of things. I'll still keep this under 35 minutes. Let me show you this. Okay, if you're watching this on the website, if you're on with me live right now, this is what you can do to get details on that promotion. Call or email us. call and leave a message. All my employees have the day off today and through the weekend, but we'll return your call if you leave a message. We'll make sure we get back to you over the weekend. Email us at info@safeoptionstrategies.com. If you will do nothing more than call or email and say, what's the discount? I'll show you a pretty sizable discount that we're offering through the month of April on the combined courses. But let me talk for just a minute. And also, if you're watching this on our website, right below where the class, where this YouTube video is, because I convert it to YouTube, so it's really easy for anyone to use on any device. But right below that is a simple form you can fill out requesting pricing information for our April promotion. Now, here's what I want you to do. Well, let me back that up. Here's what I want to leave you with. Folks, I've been teaching people this for 15 years. I've been doing it myself for over 20 years now. The stuff we teach at Safe Option Strategies works. It's not get rich quick, but I will tell you, last year, our return percentage on the portfolio that we manage at Safe Option Strategies, which is a portfolio that consists of all the trades we send out to our students, was up 90% last year. We made a 90% return. Now, I don't consider that get rich quick, but that is some pretty incredible returns. This year, year to date, the U.S. stock market is still down close to 20% from where it was less than 2 months ago. And it's probably going to go down and test that 30 to 35% down range again, and it may go lower than that. At the time the stock market this year was down 32 to 35%, we were up about 10%. Now we're up almost 20% on the year. We're only in the month, we're in the early part of April, and we're up almost 20% in our portfolio this year. And some people have lost a third of their retirement and only got a little bit of it back in these last couple of weeks. Folks, we know what we're doing here. We know how to teach it to you. We guarantee this education. You literally get a money back guarantee on this education if we can't help you make money. If we can't help you be profitable, you get your money back, period. Simple as that. We stand by that. In 15 years of running Safe Option Strategies, I can count on one hand the number of people who have requested a refund. And in most of those cases, they just needed some additional help. We would have given them a couple of them, we gave them their money back because they just wanted their money back. A couple of them, we realized that in requesting a refund, they were just struggling with something and they wanted help. And without any additional charge, we offered to help them. And they were good to go. And they're making money now. No one in this industry has a guarantee like ours. And I don't believe anyone stands behind their guarantee the way we do. And we can do that because what we're doing works. It works in any market condition. You may be looking at those prices from the previous page and you may be thinking, and that's too expensive, I can't afford that. You call or email and at the minimum, take a look at the discount we're offering. And if you still think it's unaffordable, have a conversation with me. Send me an email. Get on the phone with me. Let me see if I can work something out for you. I'm not going to give one person a better price than the other person, but I'm willing to work with individuals that really want to do this. I'll see if I can find a way to make it work for you. Step one, you've already done. You took some time out of your schedule and watched this video. Step two, you kind of already done because you stayed on till the end of the presentation. Step three, get a hold of us. Fill out the form that's below the page, below on the page that you're at. Fill that form out. It is not mandatory that you put your phone number in there. If you do, we will call you. If you don't, that's okay. We'll email you. Or if you'd rather just give us a call at this number or directly send us an email. Seems I lost my pen. If you'll give us a call or if you'll email us directly at this email, we will get back to you. We'll tell you what the discount is we're offering, and we'll make it easy for you to participate in safe option strategies. And bottom line, we will help you never lose money again. And then you'll see how easy it is to make money. Thank you for taking some time out of your schedule and watching our presentation. I hope you have a great day.